Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the story of a laid-off federal worker, someone who proudly cast their vote for Donald Trump, hoping for both economic reform and stronger support for veterans. But now they are speaking out, disillusioned and disappointed. They say the promises just doesn't match the reality. Tariffs gone wide, rising costs, and airlines turned into adversary, and the internet is reacting big time. Some are applauding the honesty, others are outraged by the change of heart. Is this a wake-up call for Trump voters or just one person's regret? Stick around because we are breaking it all down. What was promised, what was delivered, and how it divides people across the country.
I know you told me you voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy, made some kind of progress in bettering, the benefits of being a veteran. But I mean, it just seemed like he actually cared about doing what was best for the country, but now it just feels like all about me, Donald Trump, not, the guy out there working in the trenches trying to make ends meet, trying to pay a mortgage, trying to pay the bills. It goes against everything I expected when, I voted for him.
So you're not satisfied with what you said?
No. And it doesn't even have to do with anything about me getting fired. I mean, if I had gotten fired as part of the, government, cutting government spending, I would have been fine with that. I can accept that. But he's not delivering on anything he said he was going to do. So what's your real game plan? It doesn't make sense to me.
There are some things that he promised to do that he has put in place. I mean, there are executive orders that he's done, that he said that he was going to do. You don't feel like he's lived up to those promises?
I mean, where are the results? I mean, seriously, prices are still going up. We're now in the middle of a tariff war with a bunch of countries that used to be our steadfast allies. I mean, how do you make an enemy of Canada? They're right next to us, and they've been one of our premier allies and commerce partners for, seriously, like what, centuries now?
And he did say that he was going to put tariffs in place. Did you just not think that they would be implemented in this particular way?
I didn't think they were going to be put in play in a juvenile way. I mean, where was the attempt to actually talk to the heads of these other countries like, hey, I feel you have unfair tariffs against our products. I'd like to talk about it first. And if we can't work out some kind of resolution, then I feel to protect our people, we need to implement this kind of tariff. There was no attempt at even talking to the other countries.
But I just believed every bit of shit that flowed out of his mouth instead of opening my eyes and investigating and seeing what sort of a liar and a bullshit artist he really was. So I guess I got what I deserved. Next time, use this, not your ass, to think. And maybe you won't make such a big mistake.
Can't nobody tell me different? You can actually visibly see that man trying to remove the racism from his response to that woman. What did you think he was going to do? Ma'am, I thought he was going to hurt all the brown people, but the leopard ate my face, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but I really just thought it was going to be the browns that he was going after. You can visibly see him trying to filter out his racist response.
Now the case of fuck around and find out. You thought his policies were gonna affect only brown people, but now you got fired, and now you are crying. So sad, too bad, 'cause you shoulda known better.
For President Trump?
Nobody gives a crap. Anyway, guys, what are you guys up to for the weekend? Any big plans? I might go thrifting this weekend. I hope you guys having a good week.
I don't know what the hell he thought that he was trying to do. I don't know, because he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He made all these promises. I actually feel sorry for the guy, but, sir, there's a African American woman named Maya Angelou. And I don't know if you know who Maya Angelou is, but she has a famous quote. And it says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. If you don't remember nothing else I just said, remember that. Because he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He didn't lie. Yeah, I guess y'all try to call his bluff, but he made a fool out y'all ass.
No, sir. Turn down this AC. No, sir. You need to get honest with yourself. Every single person who voted for Cheetah Man, I know it's hello, call them names, but I don't know what name will not, they try to block you from the For You page. Anybody who voted for him is aligned with the principles of who he is. You knew he was a felon. You knew he was a pedophile. You knew he was convicted for RAPE. You knew. Yet, you still voted for him. And this is what you get when you vote low frequency. If you did not research what his actual businesses and business practices were, if you did not pay attention or listen to both sides of the table, or even just instinct, this is 100% on you. I don't want anybody to suffer, definitely, but you wanted somebody else to suffer. That's why you voted for him, because he made his intentions very clear that he was going to attack minorities, women, anybody he feels is beneath him. Immigrants, he was clear. Therefore, you voted for chaos. You voted for hate. Don't try to backpedal now and pretend you didn't know that. You knew it. You just didn't think it was going to creep up and bite you in the ass. That's what you get. Karma. Every last person who voted for him, be expecting it on a silver platter. Because some of us tried to warn you. Some of us tried to warn you. Make amends. Stand up. Correct course. Take accountability. These are all the things that you need to do to repair a relationship. Avoiding these steps, it's just going to keep digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and nothing's going to change. Stop avoiding the hard step. At least he admits he made a bad choice. But those of you digging in, saying crazy shit like he's playing chess, not checkers. Those say, well, you can take all those wells and throw them in a well. You knew he was trash, and you voted for him. You are who you align yourself with. And I hope you can dig yourself out of it. Have a blessed day.
When people talk about political bias remorse, it usually comes off as finger pointing or Monday morning quarterbacking. But this testimony from a laid-off federal worker who once supported President Trump is different. It's honest, raw, and deeply personal. And in a political climate full of noise, that is exactly what makes it powerful. Here we have a voter who genuinely believed in Trump's message. He wasn't some fair weather supporter jumping on a trend. He had real hopes that Trump would take care of the economy, that he would bring real meaningful support to veterans, and that he would focus on doing what is best for everyday Americans, the ones who clocked in, paid their bills, and just want a stable life. But now that belief has shifted into frustration, not just because he lost his job. He makes it clear this isn't about bitterness. If he did be let go as part of an honest government downsizing effort, a real push to cut unnecessary spending like Trump promised, he said he would have accepted that. But that is not what happened. What he's really upset about is the disconnect between what was promised and what's being delivered. Let's start with the economy. This man was hoping for smart, strategic move that would lower the cost of living and boost American industry. But instead, what he sees and what many others are starting to feel is the pain of chaotic trade wars. Tariffs that were meant to punish bad actors have instead triggered prices increases on everyday goods. Groceries, gas, household items, it's all gone up. And then there's the international fallout. Countries like Canada, who have been long-standing trade partners and allies, are now caught in a back and front of retaliatory tariffs. This laid-off worker makes a great point. How do you turn Canada into a problem? Canada, a country that has historically stood by the US in global matters and trade agreements. He didn't expect zero conflict, but he expected diplomacy, leadership, and effort to negotiate to seek common ground before going straight to the penalty. But he didn't see that. What he saw was he called a jovial approach on literal decision, public threat, and little effort to build alliances. Then there's the issue of veterans benefit. This was supposed to be a pillar of Trump's presidency. Say what you want about past administration, but Trump made big promises about taking care of our service members, both active and retired. And for a while, there were gestures in that direction. Executive order, VA reforms, more attention to mental health and wait times. But the question is, where are the results? Have conditions meaningfully improved, or were those just check boxes on a campaign list? This federal worker doesn't feel like he's seen the benefits of those promises. He speaks for many vegetarians and public servants who feel left behind. The policy may exist on paper, but the empire hasn't made its way to the people who need to eat most. And when leadership starts to feel more self-serving than service-oriented, it's hard not to get cynical. His words are telling it's not about me getting fired. He says it's about the feeling that everything is now about Trump himself, not the people, not the mission, not the country. And this perspective is triggering a wide range of reactions. Some people online are calling him a traitor to the cause. Others are saying welcome to reality, but many are quietly nodding along because they are feeling it too. They may not speak out publicly, but in their homes, in their wallets, in their communities, they are noticing that things hasn't getting better the way they hope. That is not to say there has been no action. As the worker acknowledged, Trump has done some of the things he said he would. Executive orders have been signed. Some promises have technically been fulfilled, but fulfillment without result, that is not success. That is just box checking. People didn't vote for effort, they voted for outcomes. Now let's zoom out. This story isn't just about one man, it's about the millions of voters who feel stuck, people who wanted something different from the political establishment, people who took a different on a disruptor and now they are asking, was it worth it? This kind of question isn't betrayal, it's accountability. It's about democracy. It's supposed to look like you vote, you observe, and when promises don't match performance, you speak up. That is how change happens. It also raises an important point about political loyalty. Are we voting for people or are we voting for principles? Because if it's the latter, then we have to be willing to call out failures, no matter who is in office. Blind loyalty is not patriotism, it's fandom, and fandom doesn't fix broken systems. So what now? For the federal worker and others like him, the path forward is unclear. They are not necessarily jumping ship to the other party. They are not suddenly full of hope again, but they are waking up to the complexity of political leadership. That is not just about taking tough or signing papers. It's about building coalition, leading with humanity, delivering results. And here's the thing. We need more voices like this, not just the cheerleaders and the critics, but the witnesses, the ones who lived it, who gave a politician a chance, and who are now evaluating the outcome with clear eyes. Because those are the voices that shift narrative. Those are the stories that break through the noise. So whether you agree with him or not, whether you are still backing Trump or you have moved on, it's important to listen, not to argue, but to understand, because these stories, these honest, complicated, frustrating stories are what democracy is made of. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you or challenged you, drop your thoughts in the comment below. We want to hear from real people dealing with real consequences. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a story that matters. I will see you all in the next one.